Yes guys, welcome back to this channel, and again we're gonna talk about Pokemon. I'm sorry, but we have to, because something I really like, and this channel essentially do whatever I like. Otherwise it wouldn't make any sense to do the video in the first place. Anyway guys, we need to talk about, not properly about Pokemon Legends ZA, but about something to solve it out the problem. Okay, a lot of people are doing the video and they're right, they're totally actually right to do a kind of video like that, to criticize Pokemon Legends ZA, and the people, of course, all the time, they split, like always. Even if I never actually saw this kind of movement to boycott a Pokemon game, and the people are really tired of it. Some people defend the brand because they say, at the end of the day, it's collecting creatures, and there's no really point to unnaturalize the game and the brand. And a lot of people, they literally feel betrayed by that, because they're asking for money, $70 for a game that is not on the level anymore. So today we'll just try to solve it out the problem and to give some hints to the Pokemon Company. Not that the Pokemon Company will actually ever watch a video like that, but just I will try to tell you 5 points or 5 hints to how to create the best Pokemon game according to me. So just before to start a video, I would like to say, guys, the people who are doing a video about Pokemon Legends ZA say that it's not a nice game. They're not really hating the game, so please stop fighting over nothing at the end of the day. So okay, let's start off. The most important thing ever, the elephant in the room, is the graphic. Stop judging a game over the graphic. You know why? Because since Pokemon has been released in 1996, Pokemon has always been an ugly game, graphically speaking. If we compare at the time, there was Kirby Dream Land 2 or Donkey Kong or Link's Awakening, and graphically speaking they were way better than Pokemon Blue and Pokemon Red. But at the end of the day, Pokemon has a sort of X factor. This X factor was called collecting creatures, that if you think about the timing, it was something magical for the time. So it was good. Plus there was the anime, that if you watch right now, the anime, it totally lost and missed the point of the philosophy of Pokemon itself. But it was magical at the time. It was really helpful, because every episode it was okay, a filler, but you can see the story or a little part of every single Pokemon, and in the game you could do thousands of combinations. So at the end of the day, games need a story right now. If you think Pokemon has been bought by people that nowadays are grown up like me because of that kind of memory, but are we really sure that one day the kids, they will buy Pokemon games just for the memory? Another point, please Game Freak, concentrate on the little details. Okay, if you really don't want to actually see the story, you can just create mini stories in which at the end of the day can create the world alive. For example, you can find the strongest Froakie in a lake, and it's a very rare Pokemon, and you can find it there, and the people, they can spend hours to try to catch the Pokemon. Or maybe a shiny Ursaring is trying to terrorize a village, and you need to go there and try to defeat him because it's really so strong. A tiny bit like it happened with shiny Gyarados in Pokemon Gold and Silver. Little things that literally can make you the world alive. So there are over 1,000 Pokemon right now, so the storytelling is beyond the universe. Another very important point, something that I've been asking for ages, but nobody listened to me actually, of course, and the people are laughing at me in my face, is using the Pokemon. It's very nice that they try to modernize, even if it's a bit too late now, the combat system of Pokemon. Why don't we use the Pokemon during the battles? You have, again, a lot of combination. People would just keep playing hours on the game to try to use a new Pokemon to see which one is the best. Or for example, when you go to secondary mission, that in Luminous City you have a lot, why can't we use the Pokemon? For example, I need to inspection an area. Why can't I use a flying bird to just see all around? Or for example, I need to look for a rare herb on the riverbed. I can use a water Pokemon to look for it. It would be amazing. I don't understand why they destroy even the MN sub to go underwater. Why they're not doing this anymore? It was an amazing feature. I literally don't understand. And again, you go more than 1,000 Pokemon, you have thousands of things to do. And I can connect even to a new point, something maybe even more massive, the design. Okay, here I'm gonna have a lot of hating, but can I be totally honest with you guys, the design nowadays are really, really ugly. But of course, we wanted to talk about the features of Mega Evolution. When we talk about the Mega Evolution, I agree when the people say that they don't need to naturalize too much the original design of the Pokemon. It doesn't need to be a super evolution of the Pokemon. It looks like they're really taking the mickey out of that. And of course, I'm talking about Mega Starmie. I thought that SQ was the ugliest Pokemon ever. Well, I was wrong. Mega Starmie is the ugliest Pokemon ever. And thanks God, it's just gonna vanish. I never actually use it on the game because I cannot believe that somebody got paid to do something like that. This is undefendable. And I believe there is a theory about that. Since Pokemon is the most successful brand ever in which are monetary things, the fandom is really massive, so they even create a lot of fan-made Pokemon. And Game Freak, to try to avoid buying the license, they try to surprise you all the time, which is something nice, and don't use the fan-made Pokemon. So they try to do something different, but sometimes the different is really ugly. Ooh. Okay, and another little things about me that I keep repeating in every single video, please guys, come back to the simplicity. At the end of the day, if you see a Squirtle, you remember it straight away because it's rounded, and like Johto say, the roundness is another word for perfection, and it's just a tiny bit cool design of a turtle, but at the end of the day, it's a turtle. So there is not too much about a monster, but it's catchy and it's nice because of that, because it's Pokemon. Now, and again, let's try to think about the most popular Pokemon ever, Charizard. Everybody loves Charizard, but at the end of the day, guys, it's just a dragon with a fur on his tail. That's it. Sometimes it's harder to do something simple than something more complex. Okay, but let's go on with the point. Another thing that you could make Pokemon really, really great and remarkable is the regional inspiration. For example, I don't know if you've ever been to London, but something important to London is a station called Elephant and Castle. It's not the most important, I would say, but it's pretty important. So why don't create a Pokemon based on that? That kind of thing. Or the Loch Ness Monster, Nessie from Scotland. Why don't you create a sort of a pre-evolutional Lapras or evolutional Lapras or something different? The last point is open world are not the answer. It doesn't matter if the new console they can really support new maps, so the market is showing you that it's selling a lot by creating massive maps. It doesn't mean that Pokemon need to follow the formula. Pokemon is something different, doesn't need to mix with that. It's because at the end of the day, if you remember, the people are so in love with Pokemon Gold and Silver, you know why? Because there were two regions. There were two regions that they still remember Kanto, Yoto, Owen or Sinnoh. They remember, even if they're not massive region, but they remember even more than their neighborhood. But can you say the same thing of Galar or Paldea? Do you actually remember that? I don't think so. So why bother to create two regions that you don't even know? So shrink and concentrate more. So open world can be fun, but in terms of quality, Pokemon doesn't need to fall that. Pokemon doesn't need to be bigger, it needs to be better. Okay, just as a final thought, guys, remember, this is just my personal opinion. After you're spending $70 for a game, I think you're perfectly entitled for your own opinion, of course. And what it made me sad is just a guy like me that is nothing, it's not even a major YouTuber does video about Pokemon. I can understand why they're not thinking about these things. That's it. Guys, I really hope you enjoyed this video. We're gonna see you next time with a new video. Okay, so sorry if I've never been so constant, but just been the holiday and I didn't really want to take the camera with me. So guys, thank you very much. See you again on the tube, and please help me with the subscribers. I need to reach 3,000. I'm so close. Anyway, thank you guys.